go to a safari, you see buses, they all pull up on lines. They don't flinch. Why? Because they're kings, you know? I'm not going to flinch. Please come visit. You're more than welcome. I'm okay with feeling uncomfortable. If this is the end, this is the end. Same way the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the other Jerry Jones take care of their family, it's the same way I need to take care of my family. You know what I mean? I got my own 3 kids of my own, so we all need to take care of our own family at the end of the day.
Micah Parsons is down with the Dallas Cowboys, and at the same time, there's so much going on right now, and Micah Parsons keeps spilling.
I'm doing this for myself and my teammates. Like I said, this isn't for Jerry, this isn't for Steven. My agent's been reaching out. As at one point, another grown man has to be willing to reach out as himself, you know what I mean? Like, communication works both ways. They reached out, you know, so that needs to happen too. They gotta want to do it on their part. If they don't want me here, they don't want me here. I'll go about my business. I understand the nature of the business. Like I said, as long as I'm here and under contract, I'm gonna do what I have to do to perform at the highest level. But if this is the end, this is the end. Same way the Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones and the other Jerry Jones take care of their family, it's the same way I need to take care of my family. You know what I mean? I got my own 3 kids of my own, so we all need to take care of our own family at the end of the day.
The Micah Parsons situation has been ongoing for a long time now, and many, including Micah Parsons and his team, believe that they've waited too long for Jerry Jones and the entire management team.
Communication works both ways. They reached out, you know, so that needs to happen too. They gotta want to do it on their part.
David reached out to the Joneses?
Yeah, for sure. David, I mean, not the Joneses, but Adam, whoever the little in-betweener is, you know how they do it.
You feel like the Cowboys want to get a deal done?
I mean, honestly, you know, for me, it really don't matter. Like I said, I've been pretty consistent. If they don't want me here, they don't want me here. I'll go about my business. I understand the nature of the business. Like I said, as long as I'm here and under contract, I'm going to do what I have to do to perform at the highest level.
What does it mean that he's here?
It means a lot. It shows leadership. It shows he wants to be here. You know, he clearly wants to be here. I've been with him ever since he came in. He's worked hard. He's earned everything. He's earned every dollar. He's performed on the field. So it's just, you know, I think, you know, it's time to get him done. Make sure we can keep this thing together. And, you know, like he said, it's the nature of the business. You never know. So, you know, hopefully we keep everything together, keep everything tight, and, you know, continue and try to help this team win a Super Bowl.
What was your thought process, Micah, on what he should do?
One more time.
You help counsel Micah on opportunity, situation, how he should handle this?
I think he's handling the situation really well. I don't think he's doing anything that someone who wants to be paid. You know, everyone has family, everyone has, you know, responsibilities. Everyone needs to secure their future, and you never know what's going to happen. So you don't want to go out there and risk injury or something, and your family is not secure, your family is not taken care of. So, you know, I understand it. You know, I see where he's coming from, and I think he's doing a good job.
However, all that waiting has taken a shocking massive twist as Micah Parsons took to his socials to announce he'd be leaving the Dallas Cowboys. So if you're not a fan of all that reading, here's a breakdown. And honestly, Micah Parsons came out to clear the situation.
We begin NFL Live with breaking news related to the Cowboys. Adam Schefter, what's going on with Micah Parsons?
Laura, a situation that had been simmering came to a head this afternoon when All-Pro edge rusher Micah Parsons announced that he personally had requested a trade from Stephen Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. He wants to be done with Dallas right now, and he laid out factually in his mind a slew of factors as to why he no longer wants to be with the team that he and his father grew up rooting for. And at its root, essentially, is a failed contract negotiation in which he feels like the Dallas Cowboys got him in a room to talk about leadership, wound up in a negotiation. The Cowboys felt like they had a deal. Micah Parsons did not. He had his agent call there. His agent obviously said there's no deal, and there's been no contact in recent months about a contract at a time where we've seen Max Crosby get paid. We've seen Myles Garrett get paid. We've seen TJ Watt get paid, and we have not seen Micah Parsons get paid. Not only have we not seen him get paid, we haven't seen or heard about any conversations between the two sides. And we said this all week long, but essentially the sides right now have been further apart today in early August than they were in early April. And now it's culminated in Micah Parsons issuing a trade request. It's gone viral. He's got teammates on Twitter supporting him, and there's more drama in Dallas.
Between him and the Dallas Cowboys had become famous, and it was obvious agreement on a new deal had not been reached. Although with the speculation around the time, no one really knew what the holdup was. Was it Micah Parsons or Jerry Jones? However, months later, and Micah Parsons is spilling everything. He says Jerry Jones, including the management, went silent on him despite trying to talk out an agreement a number of comes off as quite crazy. Like, how do you not pay Micah Parsons, who's like the best player on your team and literally your defense structure?
Hopefully, that is what Micah and his agent David Mulligetta is doing. But Lord have mercy, do we have a problem if he's serious? Do we have a problem if you can't get this back to where he is actually wearing that uniform? He's the best player on the team, on a team that is absolutely going to need him with a brand new head coach. But here's the other issue I have. Why can't we ever just have a normal offseason with training camp, get ready for the season, go into the season and play football games? And I don't want to hear it. Everybody here always tries to tell me, Swag, calm down. It's going to get fixed. Don't worry about the contract. This stuff affects the winning. It affects the team and how they actually play football. So I don't want to hear it this year. I've watched them implode. I've watched us lose playoff games.
Micah Parsons, he's trying to get paid. He is the type of player where if you lose him, you are looking to replace him for a decade or longer. 25% of the team's pressures last year were from Micah Parsons. By the way, he missed 4 games. That should not be happening. He is their defense. They have to improve in that regard, and they have to have him on the field. This is embarrassing. Every summer we go through something like this. Jerry Jones, I know this sounds crazy, but you got to change a little bit, buddy.
And since the statement from Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones has been getting smoke, and y'all can rightly see why.
They wouldn't hesitate as businessmen to say to you, this ain't your lane. Step back. Let us handle this in any other situation. But suddenly your contract comes in the fold and Jerry Jones don't want to talk to the businessman. He wants to talk to the player. You know, you want him out of position. We gotta rebut that. We've got to really challenge that and say that's not right. That's unfair to Micah Parsons, number one. Number two, we got to also pay attention to what's unfair to Micah Parsons from the standpoint, Micah Parsons wanted to sign a deal earlier. If Jerry Jones and the Cowboys had signed him earlier, they would have had cap maneuverability. Adam Schefter, that's your lane far more than mine. Educate me if I'm wrong. But that's my understanding of it. And so when you look at it from that perspective and you say, you could have done easier, but business could have been better had you addressed this earlier. Plus, you got a guy in Micah Parsons who's a stud and a star. Even missing 4 games last year, he was still top 5 in sacks. And you got a guy that was on the record saying, I want to be here. Yeah. And you got a guy that was on the record over a year ago saying, I'll come for less. You can get me for less now. I want to be a Cowboy, so long as the deal is fair. Yeah. Jerry Jones has had ample opportunity to sign this young man, okay? And then you didn't do it. You didn't do it with CeeDee Lamb until the last minute. You didn't do it with Dak Prescott until the last minute. Cap maneuverability was compromised because of those things, and they still want to bloviate him and Stephen Jones, acting like they're doing everything right, and it's the fault of the player.
Can't do business this way anymore. It's a bad method, and it creates bad blood within the locker room, within the team. We saw this as CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott, and the statement that Micah Parsons put out, that got really personal. He was talking about Jerry Jones calling him out for his injuries and talking about, well, why would I want to pay a player that's been injured in the certain instances in which he has. And he talks about going into Jerry's office to talk about leadership. And all of a sudden, a leadership conversation turns into something about negotiations where his agent isn't even present. He's made comments about his agent, David Mulligetta, acting like he has no clue who one of the most powerful agents in sports is. These are all pot shots that could have absolutely been avoided. And Jerry has talked about doing business right. And, I don't mind costing myself more money just as long as we get the deal done. I can remember a time last December, Laura, where Micah Parsons told Todd Archer that there's not much of a difference between $30 and $40 million. They could have done this months ago, right? And smoothed all of this over to the point where you get sports and you get business. You have it. It's not an issue anymore. But now they've created something. Toothpaste is out of the tube. And I don't know how you end up remedying this unless you're going to give him the $43 million bag, which they clearly don't want to do right now.
The agent community has previously alleged that Jerry Jones tries to snake these players by employing a tactic of isolating players in face-to-face meetings without their agents, sometimes under the pretense of discussing non-contract issues only to push for discounted deals.
It's not just about Micah getting paid. It's team chemistry. It's camaraderie. It's a locker room with their guy. One of the mantelpieces of what this football team is going to have success with if they get him in the locker room. And I'm gonna tell you this, I feel like this, man, and as much as it hurts me to say this, because I don't want to see Micah in another uniform, it's somebody got to stand on business. One of these players got to stand on business and finally say, nah, I ain't gonna conduct business this way. You're not doing right by me. Like these other franchises that we looking at paying these guys and getting negotiations done and deals done. And one thing I want to reiterate before we leave, in that what Micah wrote, he called Jerry Jones a snake. I don't know if anybody interpreted it that way, but he said we had a meeting and he left as if we were negotiating a deal without talking to my agent. He said, you tried to snake me. He didn't say that verbatim, but that is what I contextualized when Jerry supposedly thought that they had a negotiation done or they started to negotiate. So if Micah is dug in, kudos to you, bro. I hate to see you go.
Players like Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, and CeeDee Lamb have reportedly been victims of the Jerry Jones problem, delaying each contract down to the wire before extending them.
You didn't do it with CeeDee Lamb until the last minute. You didn't do it with Dak Prescott until the last minute. Cap maneuverability was compromised because of those things, and they still want to bloviate him and Stephen Jones, acting like they're doing everything right, and it's the fault of the player.
This is one reason why CeeDee Lamb is drumming up loads of support for Micah Parsons before Micah requested a trade.
For Mike, man, Mike knows I love him, and being in this situation, obviously playing this media game with Jerry is not the best. It's not fun. It's not recommended. But as for Micah, he knows what he brings to this table, honestly, for this team, for himself, and he should get what he deserves. And I'm not indulging in any of the craziness that they got going, but I do want Micah to get paid soon.
And even after the announcement, he had been drumming up support for Micah Parsons by making tweets like this. Never fails, dog. Just pay the man what you owe him. No need for the extracurricular. Not just CeeDee Lamb, other teammates like DeMarvion Overshown also backed Micah Parsons, changing his profile picture to one with him.
My goodness, you see the teammates posting on X there. Their new profile pictures are Micah Parsons. They're even doing that thing you can do where you said new profile picture so everybody sees it, right? This is wild.
With so many of Micah's teammates drumming public support for him, there are concerns that there may be tensions in the locker room, which many don't think would be healthy for the Cowboys season.
I want to go first to Courtney here on just maybe the distraction side of all of this. I mean, we know the Cowboys are going to have a certain level of distraction every single season, but as Marcus alluded to, they're trying to get ready under a new head coach. How do you think this affects everything going on with the team?
New head coach and new defensive coordinator.
Good point.
So more on that in a minute, but I need somebody to go to the Cowboys facility and remove every copy of 48 Laws of Power that are in every front office because this is not the way you conduct business. And I know that there is something to be said about Jerry Jones being the GM and owner, and he did it for so long. It's worked because eventually these deals get done. With players in this day and age, in an era of player empowerment, you're seeing it so much more in professional sports, particularly in the NFL. You can't do business this way anymore. It's a bad method, and it creates bad blood within the locker room, within the team. We saw this as CeeDee Lamb with Dak Prescott.
However, some believe it is great that someone finally stood on business and is calling their BS out. So far, since the Micah Parsons news came through, fans have been looking forward to Jerry Jones' response, and the one gotten was quite disappointing to many.
Well, let's put it like this. Surely you guys have been around this stuff and know to recognize negotiation talk, that type of thing, and so that's where I put that.
So are you considering it?
I'm not. At this, the facts are that that's like anything else. I think the world of Micah, and that's just a part of negotiation.
Would you ever consider trading Micah?
Again, I don't really place that with any real seriousness. Micah's got a bad back. That's like being traded.
Did the request take you by surprise?
Y'all weigh it the same.
Did the request take you by surprise?
Again, no, that's negotiation. I've heard that so many times in my 30 years in the NFL, about from not just players but agents, and of course we all understand contracts. We're under contract. That's what we're doing. We're looking at adjusting the contract, but we're under contract.
Jerry Jones openly involving Micah Parsons' back issues during the interview sort of proved a point in the statement he put out on X. There's still more to unpack in this saga. Does Micah get to stay? What are the trade possibilities? What team swoops in? For more on this, do well to subscribe and keep an eye out.